Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much again for joining me here. Hope you're having a great day. Let's take another look here at Bitcoin, see what's going on. We got a big old reset button here that was just hit just a couple of hours ago. It's basically just a Trump tweet basically letting us know that June 1st, 50% tariffs on EU, which essentially dropped NASDAQ and subsequently Bitcoin. So that's kind of an unfortunate situation, but on the overall spectrum here, from a macro perspective, Bitcoin's still bullish. We'll look at that and just kind of see if there's any shift in momentum in the back end with liquidation data and Delta too. So if you could please hit that like button, folks. Always consistently do that. Really appreciate it. Helps grow the channel, get this in front of more people. So let's take a look at the liquidation levels first and just kind of see where we're at here. So the last 7 days, there's a lot of liquidation above the price. We can recognize that at about 112 to 114. We've talked about this previously, and just to reiterate, that's likely the next area of sweepage if the price were to continue further higher. We're probably going to see 114 as that next potential target. So at this point here, with the price being at 109.6, we're in an interesting area right now because we're retesting the local high as a new low, our all-time high as well as a potential bottom, and that's kind of what we're looking at there. Now, don't get me wrong, 110,000 is not the bottom, but it could be a local bottom here for a potential next leg up to that 114. Okay, so don't get it twisted. I'm sure somebody is going to say in the comments, "Oh my God, this guy totally doesn't know what he's talking about. 110,000 is not the new low." It probably shouldn't be, but the truth is, right now, with that, with us having good momentum throughout the week, it's being Friday. We got a holiday weekend coming up here. There's a good chance we see some kind of selling pressure. But the truth is, liquidation delta is still super high and super strong. So you don't really want to short against that. I think in general, it's best to presume the price will continue a little bit higher, just based on overall sentiment. But once more, weekends can be very deceiving, so we kind of got to play it or take it in stride, if you will. Now, when it comes to open interest, this is interesting, no pun intended here, that we got 105,000 as that local point of control, that open interest area. That's the heaviest concentration we have locally. So 105 and previously identified 106 in the smaller time frames. We have a good amount of support in that 105 to 106 range. If I recall correctly, that is the weekly high candlestick closure for us here, roughly 106. So I'm speculating if the price continues to pull back, 106 would be a logical next consideration there for a small handful of reasons. Okay, mostly just based on this local range though. Let's take a look at the weekly, kind of work our way down. Somebody mentioned in the comments that there is a some kind of hidden bearish divergence or something like that. I'm not a big fan of hidden bearish divergences or even bullish ones because they're not really all that hidden, honestly. But at this point, when we look at the RSI, it's still continuing higher. We're above our moving average. Money flow index, while trailing behind, is still above 50. That doesn't really reflect too much here. That really tells us here in the sense that the price is going up, RSI is going up. There's nothing hidden about that, nor is there any kind of divergence. MACD is also converging here, by the way. That is a swing to the upside. So this is more of a momentum play that's breaking through our local high will likely continue further up. Majority of the time when you see that happen, continuations are likely, okay? And it continues after retesting its local high, which we're seeing right now at about 110. So that's a close approximate there of the local bottom, as I've mentioned previously. Okay, so when we look at the moving averages, we're above all moving averages. This is still very, very bullish. Our point of control, by the way, in this local range here is still 97,000. Absolute worst case scenario, 97K should be that local bottom for us, or the secondary bottom, if you will, outside of that weekly high closure at 106 and or our previous all-time high at 110. So 110, 106, 97, those are kind of like the three areas to kind of mentally prepare yourself for. And when we look at the daily time frame, we can recognize that we are coming back down here. Yeah, and we are starting to see that profits should probably be taken on a long position if you are in profit. That's kind of how this works. When the RSI comes back down below 70, it's generally a good rule of thumb to consider taking profit. Now we got stochastic swinging up. We've got money flow index pulling back. These are all like conflicting signs here. So it's really difficult, honestly, to gauge where we're going to go next here. Even though we know liquidation is above the price, we have liquidation delta super high right now. The likelihood of further sustainability at this price range is greater. We still have smaller divergences here from a momentum standpoint on lower time frames, letting us know we're kind of tentatively capped out. So it would be naive to think that we're just going to consistently go up. But a lot of the powerful indications on the back end are telling us that a continuation is more likely, and we're above all moving averages. We really just got to presume it's going to continue until it doesn't. That's kind of the crazy thing about this market right now. But leading into a holiday weekend, it's hard to want to feel comfortable about this. But the truth is there's a tremendous amount of volume here, and if you take a look at the amount of volume we've seen since Sunday, it pales, or like the previous volume pales in comparison to this most recent volume at this range. So that is pretty substantial, and that does also infer that we have sustainability in this price point. So let's take a look at the 4-hour really quick and wrap it up here. We're still over 50 on the RSI, still in good shape. I think until we lose that 106 or just say 110 range, because we haven't technically lost that yet, we're probably going to be in good shape here. However, we've lost our moving average. Shorter term time frames here are letting us know that we've shifted momentum and that further downside should be expected. But here's something kind of to tell you. I mean, anytime some people will get like super hell-bent on the moving average convergence divergence, the MACD. Oh my gosh, the MACD shifted. We're going to short now. If you look at this history, previous time frames when we had a MACD divergence, just say May 10th, that was roughly 2 weeks ago. The price action went sideways and inevitably continued higher. Okay. So it didn't drop like most people were presuming it would do, okay? So that's why you just kind of want to be careful. Use everything in combination with the MACD and you're going to be more successful. Most people, unfortunately, will just use that one thing. They'll get hammered or destroyed, but they'll always post their good results, which is very few and far between. Don't get me wrong, I love the MACD. It's still a good confirming factor, but at this point, it's really the only divergence we see so far because we're still maintaining above majority of all the other indicators, letting us know we're so far so good in decent shape here. Now, do you take a long going into the weekend? That can be a tough pill to swallow, honestly. It's a difficult thing. So for the most part, I would recommend less trading. And if you're going to consider anything, I'm not saying you should short, but if you were to consider that, we saw how knee-jerk reaction, how big of a knee-jerk reaction there was for altcoins when Bitcoin pulled back. They were about 2 to 3x of Bitcoin. So I'll be analyzing some of those here today and kind of trying to find some opportunities for short opportunities, just mainly because we had a super profitable week going into a weekend, a holiday weekend. Majority of the time you will see selling pressure in that situation. So I'm expecting that to happen. Now, do you want to short coins that are super strong? No, you don't short coins like Dogwoof Hat. You don't short coins like Solana. They're all showing a significant strength. And I think that at this point, the best consideration for altcoins is to think about shorting, but more importantly, consider shorting on coins that are retesting their support. They're already kind of like underperforming versus Bitcoin. Those are the ones you want to watch out for. So don't pick the blue chip coin just yet. At this point, though, that's kind of all we got. I hope it was helpful. Thank you again so much for being an awesome part of my life. Make sure you join us over at Bitunix too. We have a new campaign. This isn't the right one, but if you use the link down below, there's a really good. I think they're offering a Tesla and different things this month, so it's good opportunity. And join us over on Twitter, Telegram, and Discord too. Appreciate the feedback and awesome support. We'll look forward to seeing you on the next one. Take care of yourself out there. Bye bye.